2019, the United States of America used almost 4 trillion kilowatt hours of energy. Around two-thirds of this energy was wasted due to inefficiency caused by the majority of Americans. We are consuming oil and fossil fuels at an alarming rate. We are consuming around 11 billion tons of oil every year and are expected to run entirely out of oil in around 53 years. Fossil fuels are the leading reason why global warming is increasing at an alarming rate. If things keep going the way that they are, global warming is supposed to be irreversible within the next 11 years. Fortunately, there is still a chance for us to take an initiative and finally reverse this environmental disaster. We can start resolving this problem by moving away from fossil fuels and switching to more renewable energy forms. America has to lead the way by switching to renewable energy and ditch non-renewable sources of energy, and look toward a future of clean, sustainable energy before it is too late. The major problem with global warming is the number of toxic gases released into the atmosphere. The leading gas that's released in the atmosphere is carbon dioxide and methane. Both of these gases are responsible for the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is known for warming up temperatures on Earth because the gases such as methane and carbon dioxide release holes.
As per se CO2. A colossal producer of CO2 is cars. There are nearly 1.5 billion cars used worldwide regularly, and the average person emits 4.6 million metric tons of carbon dioxide a year just from driving around. We can assume that the average annual amount of CO2 released into the atmosphere is a larger number. There are other ways that harmful chemicals are being released into the atmosphere, unfortunately. China is the world's largest country with a population of around 1.2 billion people. When a nation of that many people, one can conclude that there's a lot of energy required to run the country. Last year, China consumed around a quarter of the power used on the Earth, which is not surprising since China makes up nearly 1/7 of the world's total population. Because China has so many people and requires so much energy, China has resorted to burning coal as another energy source, presenting numerous environmental problems. Coal is one of the dirtiest sources of energy that has been used and abused over the last 100 years. It is a non-renewable source of energy, but coal burns dirtier than any other form of energy. Over the last decade, China has a severe smog problem. Chinese citizens have been able to decipher what to wear because the smog has blocked out the sun. China has now tried to provide clean, renewable, and sustainable energy for its population, and it shows on a global scale. The citizens can no longer decipher the weather due to the smog or the pollution, and the problem is that China has not come up with any solutions to this traumatic event. If China switched to a cleaner energy source and provided clean, sustainable energy for all of its citizens in their country, global carbon emissions would be reduced by a quarter just if China switched alone. If China could switch to renewable energy, plenty of countries could learn from them and understand China's mistake and make the right decision. The world has struggled with its use of fossil fuels and non-renewable energy. Since the Industrial Revolution, global warming has been on a steady rise, but over the last century, as industrialization has increased, more pollutants have been released into the atmosphere. The world population in 1920 was around 1.8 billion people, and now there are about 6 billion other people living on this earth. There's been no choice but to continue burning non-renewable energy. Even though it's such a huge problem, there is no other alternative energy sources until early 2005 when people took a liking to solar energy and realized the benefits that went along with it. Overall, humans have done more damage to the earth than any other species that's ever been here. But we have to be thankful that we can still reverse climate change and start with the way we consume our energy. The first primary method that we can utilize is the sun. There are only two things left on this earth that are free: oxygen and the sun. The sun offers us heat and provides us with warmth and allows plants to photosynthesize, thus allowing animals to eat, which enables us to eat. Continuing on, we can maximize our use of solar energy by installing more solar panel farms across the United States, more specifically in the rangelands. Solar panels collect the rays that come in through the atmosphere. The heat is trapped by the solar panels and converted into energy, stored in substantial energy banks under the ground, which is then distributed to homeowners that pay for electricity. Some homeowners opt to have solar panels installed on their roof, and this is just done on a much shorter scale. On top of that, they don't have to pay an energy company every month. Instead, they're sourcing their energy and can live sustainably. Another method of clean alternative energy that we can incorporate into our daily lives is hydropower. We can use hydropower to provide clean energy for people to utilize in their house and their appliances. I believe that in the next several decades to come, people will be incorporating hydropower into their daily lives. I expect that this will be used on a much smaller scale. I believe that at some point scientists will have the technology to incorporate this into cars, and cars will have the ability to run entirely on water, using hydropower, cyclical engines, and also through hydropower generators. Vehicles can be a hybrid by creating a plug-in or a hydro plug-in, and use EV power to maximize efficiency and maximize miles per gallon to somewhere in the high tens to low hundreds of miles per gallon. I believe that people will switch to biofuels as a safer and cleaner method once fossil fuels run out. Then the stage 2 in switch will be the use of hybrids. I believe that finally we will run 100% on either biofuel or water-run cars that rely on either plugins or water specifically. Another type of alternative energy resource that is currently available right now is biofuel. Biofuel is created in a lab and is composed of algae, plants, and animal waste. Even though biofuel is around $6 per gallon, it's a lot cheaper to produce than gas. It's a lot less harmful to the environment as well. This is a step into switching to cleaner energy, removing our dependence from fossil fuels, and moving us to a more sustainable form of energy. There are many upsides to having cars run entirely on energy. One huge component of electric vehicles is how safe they are. Electric vehicles are currently leading the market as being the safest cars to operate. They are tech-packed, and the majority of the newer models feature driving assist modes, and some even offer self-driving as an option. A huge reason why this is true is that they do not have an internal combustion engine, which is in every car. Instead of having several 100-pound box of metal sitting right in front of you, all the energy storage components are stored underneath your feet while you drive. According to the IIHS, the Tesla Model 3 is one of the safest cars they've ever tested and won the top safety pick in 2020. Clean energy is the way of our future. Society has done so much harm for the earth, and it's gotten to the point where we've almost done so much damage that it can't be reversed. This pandemic has been a wake-up call for all of us to realize what we really want for ourselves. It's also shown us what can happen when we take a break from producing so many harmful pollutants into the air. New Delhi has been covered by smog, and the Taj Mahal hasn't been visible to the public until the pandemic hit. And now that there's no smog going on through the air, people can now see the palace clear as day. Not to mention that China has been the epicenter of the virus and has been shut down since the beginning of the new year. When the peak lockdown occurred, there were places in China that suffered from such horrible smog that people could not decipher what to wear outside. Instead of it just being overcast, it was actually smog. When every business shut down, Chinese people checked the weather forecast and prepared for the weather when they left the house because they were actually able to realize the weather outside. Overall, this pandemic has played a massive role when it comes to people realizing the magnitude of what they're doing to the environment. Carbon emissions have gone down 33% in the last year, which is truly remarkable. We can take this as a chance to get people back to work and maximize our ability to utilize and maximize the full potential that clean energy has to offer. The modern technology we have allows us to be in the position where we can build solar farms and create multiple offshore wind farms without mentioning several other forms of renewable sustainable energy, and create a new chapter in humanity and protect the plants and animals around us. In conclusion, if we start over and switch to renewable energy, sources that are easily obtainable, we can use them effectively and efficiently, and we can reverse the climate change and leave the world a better place than when we found it.